The following stream contains mature content and subject matter. Viewer discretion is advised.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to our special mini chronicle of Mage the Ascension, second edition. This is a game set in 1984, Miami, Florida. It's called Neon Ring on a Broken 45. It is hopefully going to be all kinds of Lisa Frank puking up lasers and unicorns on fire. And if not, I've done you a disservice. But we pick up New Year's Eve in Miami at the end of 1983. It was a tumultuous time for the city as Hollywood had come knocking. An influx of Cuban refugees had arrived 3 years prior, and the race riots following the death of Arthur McDuffie had simmered to a low boil, but were still prescient in the minds of the majority of the city. Miami had become a melting pot of not just Sazon and Mojo and Etouffee, but of racism, gang violence, drug trafficking, and it had risen to become the capital of the cocaine distribution, the gateway through which it came into the United States. Since the end of the 1960s, however, the Biltmore Hotel had stood empty, being cared for by silent benefactors and used primarily as a backdrop for quinces photos and the like. But as most of the future historic sites of Miami, it held untold potential to the right people. And the current right people are an order of mages that have turned this one-time hospital and this future haunted hotel into the largest chantry house in the whole of South Florida. It has enjoyed a quiet existence in the heart of Coral Gables until recently, as the once quiet, historic section of Miami is becoming a battleground of shadows and clandestine orchestrations. With the Miami International Airport to the north and the Vizcaya Estate to the east, it sits in a dangerously precarious position of being a strategic landmark. The warehouse district by A.D. Barnes Park to the west has begun to emanate an aura of danger as seedier elements have moved in. And of course, the University of Miami to the immediate south has brought with it the rich and privileged youths hell-bent on living life on their parents' dime and basking in the eternal summer. There's Miami. We find our group not on New Year's Eve, but 6 days out. It is the 12th night since Christmas, January 6th, and as Cubans or the Hispanics refer to it, is Dia de los Magos. It is the Three Kings Day. It is a chilly 53 degrees as the morning sun kind of starts to creep its climb into the proverbial crown of the sky. And we are finding the first of three, actually, but two tonight. First of two members of what should become an interesting group of people to follow through the city. The radio pipes up in the middle of the guitar solo of 38 Specials Caught Up in You, and the slivers of sunlight starting to creep across the floor of this small apartment on Miami Beach signal the heralding morning coming into Vasily's apartment. What does today have in store for you, sir?
Well, first things first, I roll over to side of bed, grab a prescription. I have prescription. It's not legal. I pull out a couple of pills, something to get me loose. Grab a leftover cerveza from night before, pop a couple, light up a cigarette, look over, give my whoever that her name is, who was here last night, I give her a loving pat on the behind and tell her to get up. I've got work to do. Come on, baby. I gotta get ready for work. Vasily looks over at his closet and decides what is going to make him look like the guy today. It's a little chilly, but you still gotta, it's chilly, but you still gotta be cool. So he,
Of course. Unintended.
goes over, checks out his threads, decides go with something ultra stylish. And it's time to make some phone calls. Got some business to do later on. Supposed to be checking out one of the newer nightclubs that's opening. I'm trying to get him in with the person who owns it.
Yeah.
It'd be nice to be his sole supplier in the area.
The young lady groans and begrudgingly starts to kind of get up and gather her things. And as she makes her way out into the living room, there's a moment where you kind of hear her shuffling about, and then she returns and kind of tosses a very nice, very weighty envelope onto the bed. This was by the door.
Usually this goes the other way around. I throw you an envelope, but thank you. It's much appreciated.
She gives you the bird and she walks out.
See you later, baby. Love you. All right. Excellent. I grab the envelope. I look inside. I'm assuming it's full of money and a little bit of white powder, right?
It does not. In
fuck.
fact, the only thing on the front of the envelope is the letters VI, and on the back there is a very beautifully kind of calligraphy of a T and a wax seal. So not only is the envelope like licked closed, but it also has a wax seal on top of it.
Okay. I'll bite. I break the seal and I look at the letter.
It is not even a letter. It is a poster from Halloween. It is detailing the events of a haunted walkthrough of the infamous Biltmore Hospital. It is from Halloween 1983, but it just has Biltmore Hospital underlined and the time 7:30 underlined as well.
Oh. It is cryptic as fuck. This makes no sense. Don't understand it. But, yeah, fuck it, why not? Vasily reaches over to his bedside table and opens it up. There's a drawer underneath, and he rattles his hand around for a bit. He comes out with a handful of coins, quarters, nickels, couple pennies, one 50-cent piece. And he looks over at the note and just kind of starts to shake the coins in his hand for a bit, and then just drops them on the note. And I would like to use entropy to sense the strands of fate that might be attached to this letter, because I have no idea why it's here, and unless this becomes somewhat significant, I don't care.
Okay. Go ahead and roll your arete. It's going to be entropy 1.
Yep.
So
Coincidental.
yep. And you are using your foci.
Yep.
So it's going to be difficulty 4.
Okie dokie. And that is 1 success.
Okay. For those of you that have never played 2nd edition Mage and are wondering what this dialogue just was, when a mage calls into effect an ability, a power, he's pulling on the strands of reality, he would roll his arete, take the highest sphere that he's using, try to see if there's any snap casting or any foci involved, and then modify the difficulty, which is the number on the die he's looking for. In this case, 4. 1 success. You throw the coins, you kind of shake them in your hand, you toss them like you're used to, just kind of up into the air, letting them land. All of them have come up tails. Statistically, nearly impossible.
Outside of Rosencrantz and Guildenstern are dead. I have not seen this happen ever.
Yep. And that's heads.
Yes. All right. This is now officially interesting.
No.
I'll make my calls and I'll keep them relatively short. I'll grab a pork sandwich and I'll stop by there because it's something to do. I don't have anything to do till tonight, and this could be fun.
Okay. As you make your way out into the city, leaving the north end of Miami Beach on your long trek to Coral Gables, we're going to cut over to a much different apartment, much more in the line of someone who doesn't do the kind of hard drugs that Vasily does, but still does do experimentation. This is a little different time period. It is a little different bit of a radio station, I think, that he will listen to. We catch the kind of ending to Styx, Mr. Roboto, as it kind of comes in for its alarm. It is probably, compared to Vasily, who listens to what would be either a jazz or one of the top 40s like Y100 or Power 96, I think Chuck listens to like Coast 97.3 or even Magic FM 102.7. And so I get a softer wake-up call. Either way, it is January 6th. What is on the docket for Mr. Hume?
Well, so Chuck would kind of wake up and probably like kick off the sheet that he's probably like entangled in. As for him for on the docket, I don't think he has much going on right now. That's kind of the challenge is finding things to legitimately distract himself from his actual work.
You are between cases.
I am between cases. So Hume, who's kind of a handsome but thickly built man, is going to kind of sit up in bed. The whole thing's kind of going to groan pretty heavily. Probably a cheap bed, not really designed for him. And he'll take a look around the apartment, which to anyone else looks like some sort of occult bomb went off. There's books sitting around. There's stuff like stapled to the wall. Weird trinkets and dials. It doesn't look like there's any like organization at all, except for like little little work areas throughout the whole place.
Yep.
And he will kick himself out of bed, lumber off, and start going and putting on some clothes himself. He'll go and like kind of brush some stuff off and pull open his drawers, and just all he's going to put on is like an undershirt and a Hawaiian shirt over it, and that's pretty much it, and some slacks.
Okay.
That's kind of his go-to. He like the cold out there doesn't really faze him. yeah, he's probably gonna go to try to see if there's something left that's edible in the fridge and work out, check his answering machine, see if there's anything going on there.
Okay. There is a flashing light on the answering machine as you kind of walk by it into the kitchen. So there is a message. But as your hand kind of wraps around the handle of the fridge, there's a soft knock at the door.
I'll probably glance over at the calendar and just make sure I have nothing written on there. There's nothing written on there, right?
There's nothing for the next 2 weeks now.
Okay, because you never know when your mentor is going to stop just screw over your life.
Right.
In which case, he's going to kind of probably go over and pick his go over to his over near the door and probably quietly put his hand in because he's got the 45 hanging off I think he'll at least unbuckle it and put his hand on it, and then he's going to look out the little visor hole in the door.
You will see a familiar face, and one that kind of brings a groan almost reflexively. But it is Daniel Byron Thatcher, who is the lead member of the Society for the Supernatural, who runs the kind of haunted house over at the Biltmore, who runs the haunted house over at Miami International Mall. He's also a bookstore owner that kind of you and him have created a friendship. His store is off of Lejeune in 8th Street. It's called The Collected Stories.
Okay.
Has a real hard-on for the history of the Biltmore.
Oh, okay.
He's a little older, kind of a widow's peak of graying hair that kind of shifts into gradients of black towards the ends. A small kind of goatee, very tight, light brown eyes, always dressed well. But you also know that he's a hermetic as well.
All right. So Chuck would just be like, shit, and then probably probably he's got 3 locks, and then one of them, and then he'll probably try to open up the door and he'll get caught on the chain, but shit, and then close it again. Hi, Byron. It's early. Here, let me just step out.
The crinkling of the plastic bag kind of catches your attention, and then the scent of breakfast in the bag kind of wafts up to you. It is definitely waffles. It's definitely sausage, and you're not sure, but you can smell a pastelito. It's a little flaky pastry with guava.
Oh, Byron.
He kind of smiles at
breakfast.
you.
I'm actually a rumble from his stomach.
I might have a job for you, Mr. Hume.
I'll kind of glance back in the apartment. Oh, okay, come on in. You know I can't turn away breakfast. No guarantees on the job, but I'll listen.
And nods and puts the bag down on the counter. I believe this is your favorite?
Yeah. Here, I'll try to find some plates. I'm gonna probably go quickly wash some plates for us.
Yeah. There are a ton in the sink. There's a couple of paper plates that are strewn about in precarious positions. And as you kind of rush over, a couple of them fall over. And he just stands at the counter and is like, please, you don't have to clean up on my account. I know what it would like to be, fancy free.
Work's been running me ragged. It's constant, just constant. And I'll turn around and hand him a paper plate.
He looks at it, kind of smiles like, no, this is all for you, Charles.
Okay. Here, let's sit down, I guess. He's going to come over and pull out a chair.
Thank you. He dusts it off. You can tell that he's he considers this slumming it, and he kind of sits down. I've got a bad feeling about certain things. So does Joe, Miss Joe. She's seen some things recently in the Chantry House, and I'd like you to verify whether or not these things are worth worrying about.
Oh, okay. Are we talking like spiritual things, or what kind of
Emotions to the kind of potion bottles and the cylindrical vat with like a monkey's shrunken head in it that you have on your bookshelf, and just like I believe it's up your alley, as they say.
Oh, all right then. You don't mind if I just dig in, right?
No, please. That's why I brought it.
Listen, eat while I work. It's
Sure, of
efficient.
course. It has pained me that you have not accepted our invitation to join the order, but we understand that sometimes we require some fringe elements. Not everyone can be on the list, as it were.
I just value my freedom. I like the flexibility.
Of course. And you've helped us out. You've been a member in good standing so far. We've allowed you access to the node.
And I appreciate that. It's hard getting anything with some sort of decent resonance in it.
Yeah. There's a few places. I know that we've warned you to stay clear of Vizcaya. There's a couple of places opening up in the south, however, that we think might be beneficial in the future moving forward. But
All right.
this is what kind of concerns me. And he reaches into his coat pocket and he pulls out a envelope that you must believe couldn't have fit in that pocket. It's just a little too long for the coat pocket, and you know exactly immediately that he's kind of pulled it from somewhere else. He places it in front of you. You heard recently about the events on New Year's.
I'll reach over and pop open the envelope.
There's a few folded pictures of different parts of the city.
All right. He'll chuckle, just kind of lay them out on the table.
He points to the first one. It was reported that a graffiti artist managed to get all the way atop the construction site of the Southeast Financial Center downtown. And you can see that it is an amazing bit of abstract art. There's an amazing combination of colors, complementary. There's just splashes, but it's also created in such a way that it would require wooden flooring to have been put in. And it's also only visible from a certain angle. Otherwise, it just looks like random colors that have been splattered on the different kind of pylons creeping up from this construction site towards the sky. The second one he points to is a handful of mangrove trees that have been warped and bent out of shape. You recognize part of the kind of coral castling in the foreground as being the Vizcaya Gardens. And the next shot kind of shows you an overhead view, a bird's eye view of the mangrove trees, and they've been bent into what looks like a pentagram.
That's a neat piece of work.
Yeah. And then he shows you that there is a burnt part of the Orange Bowl, the actual 40-yard line of the home territory, has been burnt. There are wild kind of designs that lead out from an epicenter, but a close-up view of the central portion shows another pentagram. And as you kind of go back to the collected picture of the different pylons from the angle where you can see the whole image of colors, there is a third pentagram.
Oh, yeah. I think I'm starting to see your. Any idea who's doing all this? Maybe someone on the verge.
He leans back and he's like, I would normally agree with you, but these all happened the night of the 1st at midnight. They weren't there the night before, but they were there the day after. So whoever did this in a short span of time.
Here, just hold on a second. And I think Chuck's going to go over and probably go over to his wall and like unpin like a city map over there.
Yep.
And he's going to actually kind of sit down and just kind of plot those locations. I just want to see if there's any pattern there.
There is a very soft curve.
All right. So what exactly do you want me to do with all this? Just poke around these sites, take a look at them, see what's going on?
I think that would be the best place to start. I would send one of my other members, but there's other things that we've had to worry about recently, and I've lost most of them to different effects. The only one that I really have at the hospital with me is Joe. And she's currently in a kick trying to find herself.
Wow. Sorry to hear that.
You know how Akashics are.
Well, I've only actually had a run-in with them once or twice. Yeah, they're weird.
To say the least.
Yeah. All right, I'll see what I can do. Kind of pay as usual, or... Wait, what is my breakfast tab with you at this point?
Oh, please. Breakfast is just how I get in the door. We can have your standard 3 vials of TAS to get you started.
All right.
And another 3 upon completion.
All right. You okay covering operating expenses? I mean, like taxis and stuff like that.
Sure.
It's been a quiet month.
If you keep your receipts, I think I can
Oh,
pull
yeah.
the money out.
Yeah, I know. I can keep up with that side of things. Don't worry.
Excellent.
All right. Well, I think you can consider me hired.
Good. I'll let Joe know just in case you come by the hospital.
Yeah. Thanks.
Mhm.
And yeah, I really do appreciate breakfast and coming all the way out here. Like that's you could have just given me a call.
Oh,
But I appreciate the personal touch, is what I'm saying.
of course. This, I believe, is what makes our friendship work. And you see him kind of stand up and shake one of the vials that you have on the bookshelf, and it starts to glow. And he kind of laughs to himself. He's like, quaint.
Don't call my practices quaint. That's... Wait, I thought that was like the line we didn't cross there.
Just making sure that you understand that we can josh with each other.
I know. I'm just kidding.
Okay.
All right.
And he makes his way out of the apartment.
I'll be in touch if I need anything. All right.
Excellent. He leads you to your business. We're gonna go back to Vasily, who is made his way over to the actual Biltmore territory. Yes.
Yes, he's currently strolling the streets. He has obtained another Cuban sandwich and has a Sony Walkman with the giant orange cup headphones, listening to a little bit of Coltrane. Just kind of got a spring to his step. He's got his head up. He's just kind of almost whistling. He's just a happy guy, and this is a nice day.
It is a nice day. It is
a very nice day.
Probably one of the cooler days that you're going to get to see for the next probably couple of weeks before the sun starts to really start punching you in the dick again.
Yeah, this reminds me a little bit more of home. It's like summer at home. It's very nice. I like it.
But as you come up, walking the street where the Biltmore is located, across the street you see the Orthodox Church, and you also see that there is a small train of people just kind of rushing back and forth. There is a young girl who is just kind of being forced to pose with the hotel, the hospital kind of in the background. There's a sputtering of a bit of water coming out of the fountain of what you could have only imagined this being something phenomenal in its heyday. But otherwise, there is just a young, lithe woman, long black hair tied up in a ponytail, kind of sweatpants, and the over-the-shoulder, sleeveless kind of sweater with a very tight shirt underneath. And she has a mug of coffee that you can smell as you start walking up. There's a slight hill that leads to the entrance of the Biltmore. And you can see that every time that this young girl and her photographer and her family kind of move too close, like she yells out something in what you can only assume is Chinese.
Well, I take my headphones off. I don't stop the tape, but I turn the volume down a little bit.
Okay.
And just kind of bemused watching what they're doing, and I continue to stroll towards the Biltmore.
Is the music coming from a radio station or from an actual cassette?
It's from an actual cassette. It's from a Coltrane tape. It's been a few hours, so he's kind of reaches into a pocket and pulls out some of his medicine, and pops one out, kind of drops it into the sandwich and eats it. He's sometimes swallowing it just takes too long, and it's like putting salt on your food.
Mm-hmm.
He kind of rides the suddenly pleasant wave of relaxation, and he makes his way towards the Biltmore.
There is a moment. Oh, yeah, that's exactly where I wanted to roll. There's a moment, excuse me, where you bite in. You know that your medicine, and I use the term loosely, is going to kick
Prescribed.
in. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you have the prescription in your wallet. It's fine. There's a moment where you're halfway up the ramp. It is a little steeper than you thought it was coming up, and you're finding your effort being doubled. And there's a moment where you flash back to Russia, climbing a hill. You can hear the sounds of neighbors kind of arguing, yelling. And there's a moment where you see your reflection kind of pull itself up from your shadow and just kind of stand next to you. This is not home. Yeah.
Oh, it's you again. Yeah. I'm assuming this is my avatar.
Yeah.
Okay. No, this is home. All right, this is much better. Back there, we were nobody. Here, we're putting the cool in Cold War. We are becoming the guy. It is not a no. It's not home. This is home.
You see it pulls the jacket sides out to kind of, and it's a grayscale reflection of you. It's not colored. It is literally just pulled from the darkness, the grays and blacks of your shadow, and it just kind of opens its coat open to you, kind of like holding it out like a cape, just like, this is far from being the guide. This is not being the guide.
Look, Rome was not built in a day. Okay.
Who is guide?
You know the guy. When you walk into the room and you look and you see that room that you're not allowed to go into, and you see the guy going in, that's the guy. When you need something and you don't know who to get it from, you go to the guy. I'm going to be the guy. Right now, I actually kind of am the guy, but I'm not the guy. I'm a guy. You're coming along for the ride.
You're like the guy's friend. You're not the guy yet.
Yet, see, you even said it yourself. Yet, okay, we're going places. Between you and me, we've got this. We are, the world is our oyster, and we're going to take it by the pussy, and we're going to make it ours.
The wind picks up, and it picks up this snow, the top layer of snow from the ground around you. There's a coldness.
Real quick, I want to add, I realized after I said that, I was more quoting Scarface than our former executive in office. Cool. I want to call that distinction out right now. It's
a good covering of the bases.
Yeah, I was going for Scarface, not Assface. So, okay, please. Continue.
Let's not ruin my first attempt at running a game on them.
Yeah, sorry. All right, sorry.
So the wind picks up, the snow starts to swirl around you, and there's an entire lane that frees up, almost like the waters parting in the Ten Commandments. And as the snow parts and you see the ground in front of you, there's just a hole, and there's barely the semblance of a headstone that just has your name on it, and in quotations, the guy underneath it. This is where you're headed. This is where all the guys end up. No.
This is where everybody ends up. Everybody ends up dead. It's all about how far you get to the top before you go. I don't like this. I don't like what you're doing. Okay, this is not fun for me.
What is top for you?
No, it's not fun. You need to just go. Just like leave me alone for like 2 days. Leave me alone for 2 days.
As you say that, everything kind of flashes away as the sun cracks through a bit of a cloud, and as you squint to kind of cover your face and draw the light away from you, you find yourself back on that incline heading up towards this very live, very kind of homely, handsome woman standing at the top of the hill, who looks down at you. Are you gonna be standing there all day?
Wasn't planning on it. You live here, or are you a member of the staff?
I live on the premises.
Well, I had a friend of mine who went to some tours that were here back in October. Looked pretty scenic. I thought I'd check it out. I have day off, and thought I would look around.
She kind of looks at you. She smiles, takes a sip of her coffee. You're early. The poster said 7:30.
I have things to do at 7:30. I figured I'd come by now.
Mr. Thatcher's
Besides,
not here
I'm-
right now.
Are we on a schedule? Like, do we have to be here now? Aren't we grown-ups? Can't we just decide where we go, when we go?
She yells something in what is now pretty sure you're pretty accurately gonna guess that it's Mandarin, and she just yells at the group, and they kind of move away from the fountain and back towards the sidewalk. And she looks at you and she's like, "Everything's on a schedule when the hermetic's in charge."
Who?
Daniel's the one that summoned you.
I have no idea. I got a letter. I was curious. Who the fuck is Daniel?
He's the guy in charge. That's the best way I can say it.
Ah, so he's the guy. I'd love to meet Daniel. Where's Daniel?
He's out right now, like I said.
Oh. All right, well, can I come in?
She tosses the rest of her coffee. She's like, "Sure, why not?"
Excellent.
She leads you
Yeah.
into the big lobby of what was the Biltmore Hotel, the Biltmore Hospital, and you can just see that it's in disarray. There's couches on top of couches. There's seats that have been stacked up. There's tables on top of tables. Some have been left off to the side. There's one support pillar that has just cushions taped to it, that you can see it's kind of been made into a makeshift kind of punching bag.
Nice place. It doesn't match the brochure very well. I realize I've been remiss. I've been very impolite. What is your name, ma'am? I forgot to ask. It's my fault. Bad manners.
She nods. You may call me Joe.
Ah, Joe, Vasily Adovich. I'm pleased to make your acquaintance.
She nods at you. It's nice to meet you.
I know. We're going to get along great. We both agree already. All right, well, I've seen the place. It looks beautiful. Renovations look like they're going wonderfully. I guess you were right about not having much to do right now. 7:30, huh?
Yeah, 7:30.
Okay. Well, it's lovely meeting you. I go now.
All right. Well, you didn't wait long.
Well, you said, I mean, I don't mean to be giving offense. It's not my intention, but this is not exactly the best place for hosting. I mean, I've been in worse. I live in worse, but this is not. I guess. I mean, give me a tour. Show me around if you're willing. I'm sure not every room is like this.
She goes over and she pulls one of the old McDonald's kind of pumpkin Happy Meal boxes, little pails.
I love those.
And you can just see that there's been a slit cut into it, and just a Sharpie $sign and the number 5 on either side of the slit. Tours are $5.
But I have an invitation.
Yeah, to meet with Daniel. Tours are $5.
I like you. I actually find I'm liking you a lot. You're what does Americans say? Spunk? Who's chuspa? I like you. I like you. I like this. I like what we're doing here. I like our conversation. I like our potential. Pocket.
I'd like it a lot more if you put $5 in the pail.
I'll tell you what. And he reaches into his pocket and pulls out a 20.
No.
I'll take 4 tours.
Okay. Don't
Just
say
in
I didn't
case I
warn
miss
you.
something the first 3 times.
I mean, Daniel will tell you more about the place than I can, so he'll definitely make up for whatever I miss. And she pulls the
Daniel-
20 out of the pail, puts it in her pocket, puts the pail back on the counter.
I told you we were going to get along. Good. I like this. I still expect 4 tours.
And she takes you over to the stairway. She's like, elevator's out of order, so we're going to have to climb to the 24th floor.
The
We'll
what
work our way
floor?
down. 24. We'll work our way down.
You have 24 fucking floors here?
I mean, 23. We don't have a 13th floor. It's bad luck. And then she kind of leans in. She's like, we actually do have a 13th floor. Don't tell anybody.
Good. It doesn't sound terribly structurally sound to just skip a floor. What's on the 13th floor?
You know, what isn't on the 13th floor?
Ooh, cryptic. All right, well, are we both going up all 24 floors? Or are we,
I can take it.
I going up?
Sure. Just, try not to die on the way up. And she starts climbing the stairs.
I like her. I hate this, but I like her. This place is shit. I hate it.
I hate everything about it. It can go die in a fire.
This looks like crack house, but I like her. I like her a lot. How old is she?
Maybe early 20s, late teens.
I love this place. I go up the stairs with her.
So as you start climbing and trudging your way up the stairs and slowly losing your breath, we shoot over to what can only be a cab ride, I imagine, as Charles is going.
Probably.
Charles has a car, I would assume. He just probably doesn't.
I'm sure I have a car. I don't know what its working condition is right now.
Okay.
Money is tight, right?
Yeah.
It's probably a better car than he ought to have, but it's in really ratty condition.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what he would be driving though. I gotta think about that. But kind of like the
So not like a Buick Skylark or anything like that, but like something.
Yeah, it's something good. But it's like, has been, recovered from an accident and is, awaiting the delivery of parts which may never fully form, eventually.
I don't know why I have the image of a Volkswagen bus, like those like surfer buses that were really popular in the 60s.
You know what? I have two. One of them is a surfer bus.
Okay.
That's the economical one because it just never dies. It just, runs on nothing.
Germans.
Sure. And it carries all my supplies. Actually, it's a really good idea. And no one would pay any attention to it. It's perfect. I'll have one of those.
The mystery machine. But yeah, so you're in a cab ride. Which one of the 3 spots are you heading towards?
Well, I think the one on the side of the building, which is very hard to be accessible, I think I'll skip that one.
Okay.
Orange Bowl during the day is going to have a bunch of people standing around going like, what the heck happened here? And where was the third one again?
The third one was on the Vizcaya Garden property.
Yeah, I think I'll go head over to that one. Is that publicly open or is that something I have to get?
Yeah, no, it's publicly open. There's there is an entrance fee. It's $5, so it's nothing.
That's okay. I got expenses covered.
That's true.
It's on Byron. Cool.
Yep. So you pay the $5, you get the receipt, so you can get your money back.
And that goes in the book.
Yeah, right in the first page. And as you walk past the kind of little trailer that has been modified into like a ticket stand, you come across this beautiful, turn of the century fountain. There's a beautiful kind of 2-story manor that extends out into the rest of the property and leads out to the bay with its own kind of dock. But as you kind of come in and go to the right to where the gardens are, you go out into what is this long, probably 100-foot long, just fountain with little jets that have been added over the years. Otherwise, it would have been just like a standing pool. There's marble statues that line the walkway towards where the private dock and the mangroves grow.
Okay.
And as you make your way over there, you kind of climb up to the observatory level, and you can see what looks to be a couple of police officers that have roped off the back half of this round kind of observatory that overlooks the entire gardens. And the police tape kind of extends both down the ramp that leads back towards the kind of small little private garden that's off to the side, and then it kind of leads to the other side down another set of stairs and where the actual mangrove garden grows.
Okay.
But you can see that some people are kind of standing at the police line. Some of them are kind of like trying to get on their tippy toes to look at what they've kind of quarantined.
All right. I think Chuck will just go, huh, and then kind of wander over towards the police line. I'm probably going to be like peeking over people, see if I recognize any of the cops, because I've got some contacts.
You do.
Yeah.
And in fact, let's have you roll your perception and contacts.
Ooh, perception and contacts.
Let's see what pops up. We'll say difficulty 6 because there's plenty of people walking in and out.
All right. I only have one.
Okay. You look around, and right before one of the detectives kind of walks out from the little private dock area and out towards where the mangroves are, you recognize a James Barnes.
James Barnes. Okay.
Detective Barnes.
So and he's just. I'm assuming he's just kind of near earshot of me.
Yeah. You can definitely call out to him.
Psst. Barnes.
Yeah. You see him stop, and before even turning to look at you, he just kind of sighs into his hand, and then you see him put on his customer service aura, and he kind of turns with what you know is a fake smile. He's like, Chuck, it has been too long.
Yeah, it's been what? Drinks last week before last with your family. How's Nancy?
If you're talking about the last time, that was in September, Chuck.
It hasn't been that long, has it?
Yeah. Are you?
Oh, okay. That means we're due. I owe you some drinks.
Oh,
right. We got to go to sit down, have coffee, have lunch. What are you doing right now?
I'm working a case, Chuck, and he kind of
I know, but
arms.
Your lunch has got to be coming up soon, right? And I'll check my watch.
It is about 12:45 at this point by the time you've gotten there, because I would assume that Chuck also is not an early riser.
No, he's not. Yeah.
So yeah, breakfast.
He
must
was
have
once.
happened. Yeah,
in his more
breakfast must have happened like around 10ish.
Yeah, and that's okay. I can still put away waffles and whatever. Like.
Oh yeah, any day.
Hey, I thought I saw a cart I know just down the block. It's really good.
He's like, I can only assume that you have a stake in what's going on here. Do you know?
I have absolutely no idea. I'm sniffing around for something. I'm actually not honestly don't know if it's actually related to this or not.
Like, but, I know you.
I saw you guys around. Figured
I know that you like the weird ones, but this is not in your wheelhouse, Chuck.
What do you mean it's not in my wheelhouse?
I mean, bent trees.
Yeah.
Shouldn't you be
not in my wheelhouse?
Shouldn't you be catching some spurned lover somewhere?
I have other interests, and you know what? look, jilted lovers pay the bills. All right. Sometimes you've there are other clients. Anyway,
he leans in. You see him. He kind of gives you a breathy pat on the shoulder, like, you know that I can get you into the force. Like, it's just you do a year or two of just beat work, and then I can get you onto my team.
Why is it? Look, I appreciate the Miami Police Department, but there's no money in it that way, right? Like, I got to look after my retirement fund. I mean, like, look at this gut. This gut needs work.
Yeah. Let me see if I can raise this high enough to fit your gut in here. He kind of pulls the tape up,
and Chuck will loom down and go inside. He's not a small guy.
Yeah. But he walks with you down the stairs towards where the bent mangroves are. And he just kind of opens his arms and he's like, what do you know that you're not telling me? Because these just look like somebody came over. Like, it literally looks like a giant just sat on these things.
Now, do they actually look like they've been like crushed down, or have they warped to growing?
It looks like they've been warped to grow into that position.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, there's no broken pieces of the mangroves. They're all bent, like, unnaturally so.
Oh, okay. Well, right now, not much. The person who hired me, obviously I can't go into details, client, PI, confidentiality and all that.
You see him give you the jerk off motion. He's like, sure, yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, something to do about some sort of chemical. I don't know, like, it's so they're having me like follow up with some like pharma companies and stuff like that, but something apparently that can do this or something similar to this.
This is not normal, Chuck. Like, these are bent trees.
I know, right? Like what the hell happened here, right? Anyway, can I have like 5 minutes just kind of poking around?
Should we be wearing hazmat suits? You're talking about chemicals?
No. It's like plant chemical. It's not like people chemical. It's not going to melt your bones or anything like that. At least I don't think so.
Oh, that would be terrible. Is there anything that we should be looking for as far as these chemicals? Like, is there?
Take plenty of swabs. And it's okay. I'm just going to take I'm going to probably take some cuttings myself. A one for one. Yeah. Anything I take, you take a copy as well, right?
All right. And you see him kind of look over one of the other cops. He's like, Ramirez, get some swabs. Get the lab on the line. And you see him kind of 3 minutes. And he goes over the stairs.
And I'm going to head in. I can't believe that worked.
You have a contact. So I'm gonna make him.
Yeah, I know, right? Oh God! I mean, if you're a mage and you have to be a master of bullshit. That was not even mastery of bullshit. That's
what the game is.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah. So I'm going to head over there, and I'm going to as I kind of go over there, I'm gonna and I'm gonna kind of reach into my pocket and pull out like a handkerchief, but inside the handkerchief is actually my one of my little amulets, and I'm gonna and then just kind of quietly I'm gonna speak some quiet notion into it as I walk along, and then just kind of breathe in the power and start taking on the perceptions. And I think I like pretty much what I want to start off with is probably probably look for just basically see if I can sense anything about forces in this area. See if it's something kind of bent, like actually physically bent these trees, or I don't have life, or I might approach it that way.
Yeah. So you're calling on your correspondents and your forces to kind of help you
Yeah. So correspondence and forces to start off with.
Okay.
Yeah, because I guess I can just combine those two, or if I can go wrap my entropy in there too, that'd be great.
It'd be a little harder because you're trying to pick up things, not change the way things are. I mean, it might make it easier for you to pick them up. So we'll say that it's a 1-1-1 effect.
Yeah, and I'll take my time. I've got my amulet and my magical words.
Yeah, so you've got your focus, you've got your Huju Buju, so it's going to be difficulty 4. Roll your Arete.
All right, let's do it. And 10's reroll, right?
No,
It's been a while.
No.
Okay, so that's it's only with a specialty, right? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
That's 2.
2. Okay.
Yep.
You kind of go out to where the stone railing is that separates the kind of garden area from the mangrove forest that's there on the side of the river. And as you extend your senses outward, kind of to cover more ground, to give you a better angle, to use some of the reflections of the water with correspondence, and to kind of use some of that entropy to kind of help you get a better beat of what's going on. And then you tune in to a bit of forces kind of still siphoning off slowly out of the area. Something in the mangrove forest definitely pulled on forces. Some high level forces. This is gravitational effects here. But you definitely know that it wasn't just forces alone, because that would have broken and shattered some of these trees. Like there was definitely some high level spheres at work here.
Okay. Out of curiosity, can I discern the exact direction that these forces came from?
Given the successes and given the spheres that you are using, you know that whatever did this, did it at the center of the pentagram.
All right. Okay.
Like that's where everything's kind of siphoning towards and back out into the cosmos.
Okay. Now is it? Oh man, it's been a while. Can I read resonance with correspondence, or is it mind? It's been a while.
I believe resonance can default to
mind or mind 1 or prime 1.
Yeah,
Mind 1 or prime 1. Okay.
Yeah.
So I don't have. Then Chuck wouldn't try that because I have no capability to do it. Okay.
I know. Prime is the one that lets you fucking catch all.
Yeah. That's the Great Mage site. Yeah.
Yeah, some people are lucky that way.
But not you two.
Nope.
Wait a second, neither one of us has prime.
Surprise.
Fucking awesome.
Yeah. I love it when a plan comes together.
Why do you think I'm begging for tasks? It's my only means of getting quintessence.
Yeah. I was like, I know what Chuck wants.
At which point, I think what I might want to do is, I think Chuck is feeling a little bit at a loss here, but this is not unusual, especially when it comes to mystic stuff like this. But you know what? There's always a way forward. And so I think I'm going to try to bend my entropy just to send me just to basically roll the dice and send myself in the right direction to find some greater clue here.
Okay.
If I could.
Yeah. Go ahead. That would be entropy 2.
Yep. And he does weekly rituals to kind of prep himself up for this kind of thing, where he sits down and kind of works in a very kind of ritualistic way in order to focus. And then basically I'll use my my once more and kind of chant into that hidden amulet again, along with the Enotian mutterings to add a little bit more.
Detective Barnes is still far enough away that he doesn't count as a witness, so it's still going to be difficulty 5.
Cool. I'll spend a willpower on this one if I.
Sure.
Can I do that if irritate? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll spend a willpower on that one.
Okay.
And I'm glad I did. I got one with
Okay.
willpower.
So the willpower alone saved you.
Yep.
There's a moment where you kind of stretch out. It's not. This is going above and beyond the wheelhouse that you're used to. I can only imagine that Chuck has his rituals to kind of put him in the right coffee house, in the right cafeteria, and the right kind of restaurant to pick up jobs. And so this is actively kind of pulling. And there's a moment where out of the water, you see a younger version of yourself come out. There is the camouflage, the face paint, the condom on the barrel of the gun as he kind of pops up, and Niskaya is no longer the surroundings. You're back in now. And you just see this younger version of you kind of come up, just stand up face to face with you, and he's like, "You got a long way to go, my friend." Come on, don't dawdle. We're
Yeah.
pathfinding.
Yeah. Okay.
You see him start to lead you, and as you turn around, what was this kind of lush, beautiful coral kind of castling and just the collection of beautiful trees and just these marble statues has just disappeared, and in their place are just these tall, thick trees, this kind of heat that is pervasive. There is just the sweat, the buzzing of flies, and that quiet that can only come from stalking or being stalked. And there's moments where you just see yourself go up against a tree, stare for what must be at least 3 or 4 minutes. Then he'll turn to you, motion with his head, "Come on."
All right. And I think Chuck will basically play along. Like he'll kind of move and take gentle cover while trying to maintain a look of casualness to it.
Mm-hmm.
So if any of the cops look over at him, he doesn't look like a complete idiot. But yeah, he's gonna basically follow along and kind of pantomime with the echo and
Yep.
go, yeah.
And you get to a moment where you follow him to what is the edge of this river. And he kind of looks back at you as he dips his hand in, pulls out what looks to just be dark brown, black sludge, mud out of the water. And he's like, "There's something coming, man. There's something don't feel right."
We'll get through this. We've always gotten through everything, haven't we?
It feels different.
It's always different.
And you see that there is a crack of a twig or low hanging branch, and he shoots up. You turn around, and you are in a Saigon bar. He's sitting next to you, shirt's open. There is a bandage kind of just below the left pectoral, and seeing it almost instinctively makes you kind of reach up and touch where the wound is. And you hear Jimi Hendrix all along the watchtower. And as it starts to really get into it, he looks over at you, he downs a bit of his beer bottle, slams it on the table. And he's like, "Shit's coming, Hume. Buckle up." And he takes another swig, and as he slams it again, you're back at the edge of the Skya, sitting on the private port, the private little dock that leads out into the Biscayne Bay from the actual kind of museum and garden house. And there's a guard that kind of comes over and is like, Sir, you shouldn't cross the rope. It's dangerous, slippery down there.
Oh, I'm with the cops.
All right, just be careful then.
Yeah, thanks.
You see him kind of start to make his way back towards the above ground pool that exists on the side, where there is a small kind of outdoor patio and not gift shop, but a little kind of restaurant, a little gift restaurant / thing. You can smell the street vendor hot dogs. You can smell the kind of wafting of the hamburger meat grilling. And as you kind of realize what's happened, and you're kind of sitting there with yourself, and not actually yourself, but just yourself. Where do you go from here? This is not, I think, what Chuck was expecting.
Chuck would probably go and probably head up towards. He's going to look for somewhere to just get a cup of coffee for right now. He'd much rather a drink, but yeah. I think coffee first.
You can go around then, follow the guard to the little area, and you can see that there are some people there, kind of eating their overpriced sandwiches, eating their overpriced croquetas, and you smell the very traditional Cuban espresso, the cafecito as they call it, brewing. And one of the young ladies kind of like looks over at you, is like, "Coffee, sir?"
Yeah, one of those Cuban ones. Sorry, I can't pronounce it. I'm sorry.
Yeah. And she kind of gives you a total of $1.20.
All right. I'll need a receipt. Sorry.
She laughs, but she gives you one, and she gives you the what would be considered a latte by American standards, with the little Cuban coffee cups, a little stack of like 6 of them on top of it.
Yeah, and I think Chuck would probably just like collapse into one of the chairs at a table there and just be like, "Okay,
yeah,
all right, how I'm going to frame this to Byron." He's going to start writing up notes on how he's going to approach this.
All right. We while you take notes, we'll go to the 24th floor of the Biltmore. And out of breath, Vasily.
Fuck. Look, Crosses fire. Can we? Oh my god, I hate everything.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm good.
Okay.
Yes,
Come on
this
in.
is
Come
a
on then.
lovely, to-
She opens
this is
the
a
door.
lovely
and leads you
tall
into
building
the-
you have here.
and she leads you into the rest of the floor.
Can we just go slow, please? I know what you're thinking. Washboard abs, beautiful profile. I work out all the time. I don't. Do not do this. I obviously you're in much better shape than me, and it shows your physique.
She starts jogging. Yeah, she starts jogging in place. She's like, "Oh, it's just about breathing correctly."
I will learn this breathing correctly. I'm inspired by you. I'm inspired by watching your vim and your vigor. It's
Oh,
incredible.
Come on, then. We'll take it up a notch. And you see her start running down the.
I don't want that. No. Zhao, come back. Fuck it. And I just start like sauntering my way down the hallway, just kind of poking my head in the different rooms that are open on either side.
There's maybe a quarter of the rooms are open. The majority of them are closed. But you do notice that some of them are in disrepair. Some of them are just storage facilities. And occasionally you'll find one that still kind of looks like it's still pristine for like the 1940s and 1930s. It's just this window into the past.
All right, so
she's at one of them.
So you have 4 rooms here that are really nice. 24 floors, 4 rooms. Not best average, but maybe it's just my personal taste. I can only speak for what my eyes see and what my heart tells me. My heart tells me you have 4 rooms.
She's like, this is why we start at the top, because this is the one that's been less renovated. The closer we get to the ground floor, the more you see more modern amenities.
So you started at the terrible part, and then you made me walk all the way up the stairs to start with the bad part.
We started at the bottom, and now we're here.
It's $20 worth of climbing stairs. It's actually a racket I might want to get into. I mean, the idea of making people pay $20 to visit the place just to walk upstairs. This is an actual business thing I'm suddenly deciding I might want to get into.
I mean, you could call that.
It'll never catch on.
But she kind of motions to the room, and she's like, "If you want, you can go in. This is one of our haunted rooms." It is said that some big Hollywood actor from the 20s, I can't tell you who it is, that's what Byron's for, had his lover spat here and took his life.
Love makes fools of us all.
Yeah.
I like this room. I can tell it his presence, and I enjoy it. I enjoy it very much. How about we also go into a room that's closer to floor, like ground floor?
I mean,
But
no.
You're right. We make way down. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you paid for.
He goes into the room and still trying to catch his breath.
Yeah.
He was not anticipating sweating this much today, and it shows because his sandalwood cologne that he's painstakingly had imported from Portugal is it smells terrible. Now that he sweats so much through it, smells
you dressed for 60-degree weather, and you have experienced 90-degree weather.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah. So he'll go into the room and he kind of pokes around. He'll give it the once over.
Yeah.
I'll use investigate to catch any maybe little details that are there.
Sure. Make a perception and investigation roll. The room itself looks pristine.
I am also mildly curious about the idea that it's haunted. And I know spirit is for spirits, but entropy can also ping ghosts. So I may try that. But we'll do perception plus investigation first.
Sure.
8, 6, a 4, and a 1, so that's 1 success.
Okay. You look around.
I'll fast cast the entropy too while I'm at it.
Okay.
He makes it look like he's trying to hold his chest from the fact that his lungs hurt so much, and he kind of jiggles the coins in his pocket, seeing if any of them turn cold.
Okay. So go ahead and roll your arete. It'll be difficulty 6.
In which case, I will spend a willpower point because Vasily is very self-confident.
He sure is.
And that would be 3 successes, and if I pass, I do not lose the willpower point.
You do pass, so you don't lose the willpower point. And as you kind of look around, you don't see anything that really draws your eye. Everything just looks to be remnants of a time when this was a hospital. There's the fitted sheets, the white kind of very bland, very calming colors on the wall. There's no mirrors. There's no large pieces of furniture. It's like everything's very small, very meticulous, very kind of like attention to detail as far as nobody being able to hurt themselves or hurt others. Even the bathroom has no mirror installed.
The fuck is this?
But as you put your hand in your pocket, you kind of shake the coins around, and you bring your hand up to your chest. You see what looks to be just this rotund fellow, kind of sitting on the bed, clean cut, very pristine looking mustache, no other facial hair. What looks to be these kind of sullen eyes. He is completely transparent. He is like cellophane to you. But you can see that his silhouette is one of the 1950s. And he looks at you as you kind of look at him, and that realization that you're looking at him kind of falls over him, and you see him slowly stand up.
And I imagine it's almost sitcom-like when we see each other, because he looks at me, realizes I can see him. I look up and realize I can see him. Kind of do a double take.
Yep.
Look over at her. I don't like this room at all. This is bedroom. I don't like it.
And he just kind of looks at you. You see his mouth kind of moving like he's talking to you, but you can't hear anything.
So I kind of turn back like I'm looking around the room one last time, giving it my final appraisal before I pass judgment that it is a terrible room I never want to go back into.
Yeah.
And I kind of look at the guy and I make like a stretching motion, blocking my mouth from her view. And I just kind of mouth, is she pretty or what?
He kind of looks past you at her, slowly turns back to your direction. Nods.
You know, I actually, I've changed my mind. This room has wonderful character. I love all of the white. The lack of mirrors, it's, it really allows you to center yourself and focus on the inner you. I've been reading many books about this.
Yeah. You should see the other room at the end of the hallway, and she starts taking off. You can hear her just running to the other side of the hotel.
I look back over at the ghost, and I just kind of shrug.
He shrugs back at you.
I'm going to go after her now. Wish me luck.
He nods and follows you.
Okay, well, it wouldn't be first time I had someone watching. All right, Tubby, let's go.
And you see him just kind of float with you down the hallway.
Right.
And as you've made a spectral, restless friend, I think this is a good point to go to break.
Excellent.
So thank you, everybody. We'll see you in a few minutes. All right, welcome back. In the first half, for those of you just joining us, some things happened. Some great musical references were made. Somebody made a new friend, and somebody had a flashback of Vietnam. And that's as spoilery as I'll get. And as Vasily has trudged his way to the other side of the 24th floor to follow this nubile, kind of lithe young lady to the next room of interest, with a ghost in tow, we come back to Charles Hume still sitting in the little outside cafe, downed the entire café con leche that he ordered, and is staring at a notebook of notes as to how to approach the next step of this.
There's probably not much in there, and he's probably going to look surprised when he looks over at the cup and he's like, it's gone. Right?
Yeah, I imagine that there's just a bunch of doodles.
Yeah, probably like tanks and stuff like that. Like really, yeah.
Like there was the attempt at some kind of note taking, and then doodling happened.
Yeah, but you know what? Like you kind of sometimes got to roll with it with the mind, right? Like, oh.
You got to.
At which point he's going to sigh and kind of push the dishes away, and he will pick himself up. I'm going to go look for a phone booth, I guess, because I got to make a call.
Yeah. And outside the actual estate, there is a phone booth on the corner as you turn into the actual estate. So it's not a terrible walk, but you can go out there. You have some change on you, so it's not a bad kind of situation for you. So you do put in the quarter. Who can you call him?
Well, I think I'm going to have to call Byron.
Oh,
at least attempt to.
Sure. So the phone rings, and after the fourth ring, you hear it pick up. This is Thatcher.
Hey, Byron, it's Hume.
Charles.
Yeah, I'm just over at the site for with the mangrove trees.
Oh, Niskaya. It's lovely today.
I'm getting a bad feeling about stuff here too.
How
Yeah.
so?
It's one of those hard to explain things, but it gives me a bit of a prophetic sense. I think there's something in the works, something bigger, and something that is kind of that deep down kind of scary.
You hear him shift the phone from one ear to the other. He's like, Charles, correct me if I'm wrong, but you've never told me that you'd have you were instructed in the sphere of time.
No, I am not.
Oh,
But I,
that would have
know,
opened up
there's-
some more jobs for you.
there's that other thing that tends to happen. I'm not sure if it was like the Avatar or not, but that thing don't play by rules.
Are you pulling on chaos?
Well, a little
That's
bit.
dangerous.
What isn't dangerous?
Touche.
Anyway,
Go on.
I'm gonna go look into the third site, but like I think you and Joe should be cautious. Careful around people or things. I just got this sense that something's coming. Like kind of like that sense, like storms brewing.
Hmm.
Sorry, I don't have anything tangible, and I'll keep putting it together. But just you two be careful, okay?
All right, I'll spread the word to the rest of the order.
All right. I might come by the hospital later.
All right. If you're going to the stadium, I should let you know that Samantha's down there. She's in the area, so she might be able to help you.
All right. Yeah, sure. I'll head there. I'll head there next.
All right. Well, be safe then. I guess is the point of order.
Yeah, that's all I can do. All right. Best of luck to you. Okay.
He hangs up. A car kind of pulls up to the red light, and you hear the very synthy beginnings of Irene Kara's What a Feeling.
I think at this point, Hume would probably check to see if a quarter got left in the machine, because this is how you keep your.
Even the rod's in your favor.
I always have a coin there.
Yeah, even the rod's in your favor.
Yeah, sure. Actually, no, I'll just cast it. I'll just fast cast it.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. Why not? It's correspondence. Sorry, it's coincidental as hell, right? Like,
Sure. Yeah. Difficulty 5 because there are some witnesses.
Yep. 2 10s.
Okay. Yeah.
All right.
There's
Guess
actually
number
2
four.
quarters in there.
Hey, I made a profit today,
Net gains.
and I'm gonna go and head over to the Orange Bowl. I guess call another cab and head over that way.
With your profound earnings of the day, you put in another quarter. You dial 888-8888, and a cab will pop up at some point and take you to the Orange Bowl.
All right.
On the way there, is there anything that you're kind of looking out for, or are you just kind of taking in the sights? It's not a far drive from Vizcaya to the Orange Bowl. Maybe 20 minutes.
I think I think Hume's just probably going to sit back there and just kind of ruminate. What do I know about Samantha?
Samantha Bishop is in her 30s. She's an etherite. She's the one that kind of makes all of the pyrotechnics, all of the kind of laser effects for the haunted house that they do out of the Biltmore and out of the Miami International Mall. She's the one that they go to kind of. She's the Q of the order.
Fair enough. All right. Okay. Yeah. Do I know anything about her personality at all, or?
Let's see, Samantha. Samantha is the only girl from a family of 4 brothers, so she's a bit of a tomboy.
Okay.
She loves getting her hands dirty. She is one of the few people that doesn't mind kind of taking something apart and putting it back together again.
Okay.
She has been known to go overboard, though, as she doesn't know what constraint is.
Oh, I thought that was an etherite thing.
I mean, yeah, that has definitely found a home in her.
Okay. I'm already liking the sounds of her. Yeah, I guess once I get close, I'll try to figure out how to contact her.
Okay. The cab drops you off just off of 10th Street and 27th Avenue, where the stadium is. Down the block, you can see the familiar sign for Dairy Queen. And coming from the direction of the Dairy Queen with a nice kind of chocolate dipped vanilla cone is Samantha. You just see her in her overalls, her kind of long sleeve shirt with the sleeves rolled up, a couple of fancy, what would be steampunk looking goggles kind of dangling from her neck like a necklace.
Okay.
Just a work boots, and she kind of smudges on her face. But she sees you and she kind of waves at you with a free hand.
Sure. Hume will probably like flick the kind of flick the coin and then tuck it back into his pocket. That's a good coin.
Yeah.
And he'll head over to Sam.
Okay.
Hey, Sam.
Hey, Chuck.
Did you get one for me?
Oh, no, I didn't know you were coming.
It's cool. It's cool.
Oh, I mean, it is. It's ice cream. Super cool.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
It could be colder.
Were you?
And she kind of smiles mischievously.
Hume will just kind of shift a little bit.
She kind of smiles. She's like, "Have you had astronaut ice cream? Here, it's frozen.
No, that's like the little pellet
liquid
stuff,
nitrogen.
Right?
Yeah. It's wild.
Okay.
Trying
Some good place to get some.
I'm trying to talk Daniel to let me make one in the hotel.
Oh hell yeah, that would be great.
He doesn't want to though.
Let me work on it. Maybe I can make it happen.
I mean, she kind of looks at you. She's like, "Could you do that? Because you guys are in the same fraternity, I guess. Would you call it that? Like a brotherhood? Is it?
Yeah.
Is it like a sect? Like it's like a cult, right?
No, we're not like a cult. Well, okay. Some of us are like a cult, no,
Okay.
but not me. There's we're as varied as Baskin Robbins flavors, right? Like there's
Daniel doesn't let me into his office, and it always looks like it's something out of a horror movie.
Oh yeah. Well, you should come by my place at some point.
Does it look like Daniel's office?
No. Well, parts of it, but it's a lot more like I'll show you around and I'll actually explain what's going on.
Yeah, so she kind of looks over at you. She's like, so he told me to keep an eye out for anything strange, but I don't see anything. I've been here for an hour.
Well, did you actually go inside? Because that's where the thing happened.
I mean, the police kind of are keeping people outside, so I kind of got as close as I could, and I used the old. And she pulls rather from a little kind of fanny pack inside the overall. She pulls out what looks to be the kind of EKG meter from Ghostbusters.
Oh yeah.
And she kind of pulls it out. You can see that it's turned off, and she's like, I waved this around for a little bit, but it didn't make any dinging noises. So, and she kind of puts it back in the fanny pack and hides it back inside the overalls.
Okay. What does that thing do?
It dings if there's anything bad in the area.
Okay, so just bad stuff.
Yeah, like things that shouldn't be, like And she kind of leans in. Paradox things.
Oh, okay. Come on, let's it's a stadium, right? Let's go over the back, go over the back way, and I'm sure we can kind of look at the thing from a distance.
Oh, I never thought about that. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. There, come on.
Yeah, and you go with her. You start to climb up the steps. There is actually an elevator that can take you up to what would be the nosebleed sections. So you don't have to suffer like some other people in this game.
Perfect.
You're a dick.
But yeah, we'll climb onto the elevator and bing.
Yep. And as the elevator doors open at the top level of what is the Miami Orange Bowl, we'll shift back to the 24th floor of the Biltmore Hotel. You see the young lady, Joe, has kind of stood at the opposite end of the hallway. There's another one, similar looking room. And she kind of motions in. She's like, here's one of the other kind of rooms that were used for I guess what you would call mentally challenged people. The ghost is still following you as well.
That's wonderful. It's fine. He's fine. He's not the first time I've had someone following me everywhere I go. Usually it's police, or someone I owe money to, or someone who owes me money. He's fine. Alright, this looks like another great room. I have come to a conclusion, Zhao. Fuck this building, Zhao. I do not like it. There is nothing here. There is no color. There are no mirrors. You cannot even check your hair to make sure it is properly coiffed. You cannot... there's nothing. This place is so 50 years ago, 40 years ago, whatever. Math, not so good. And this is dollars and cents. Good there. But can we please just not be here anymore? By the way, is it cold in here? I feel cold in here. I feel like I am cold and I have chills that are running through my body.
There is a moment where, as you're trying to tell her about the coldness, she kind of looks around, and as she does, the ghost kind of nods at you and then just gently wraps his arms around you, giving you a hug, like he's trying to warm you up. But all he does is just make it so much colder.
Hey, back off, asshole.
She takes a step back.
Don't let the shaved chest fool you.
She takes a step back. She's like, I'm sorry. I didn't...
Oh, yeah, no, I'm sorry. For a second, I thought I heard... I forgot to turn off radio, right? And then I heard the thing in my ear. I thought it was someone sneaking up on me. I don't like being snuck up on. I've had bad experiences. Rough childhood. I should be coddled. Not that you should be doing that. You should not be coddling me. I'm man. But if you did want to, I could use... Anyways, let me turn it off. I will turn off radio, and then we will go downstairs where it is not here.
Okay, yeah. I mean, like, if you wanted to see some of the more modern renovations, we could go down to about the 5th floor. That's where most of us stay.
Let's do that. Let's go to modern renovations. If we wanted to see the past, we would not live in the future.
It's like, you paid for the tour. I wanted to give you the tour.
Joe, allow me to tell you something from my heart. Please, your hand.
You see that she slowly and with some trepidation kind of puts her hand in yours.
And I make eye contact, trying not to shiver from Ghost currently hugging me near my bottom.
He's standing next to her, looking straight at you.
$20 is a small price to pay for a few minutes in your company. Thank you.
He nods at you like you're doing a good job. Gives you a thumbs up.
And now, let us leave this place. Let us go somewhere else. Take me to somewhere modern. Take me somewhere that just screams, we are the future. I want to see 1984 at its finest.
You see that he now is gotten excited for this, and he kind of nods, and she pulls her hand for him. She's like, all right, yeah, let's go downstairs. I'll show you. We'll go down to the 5th floor, and I'll show you where we kind of call our communal area. And she starts taking off towards the stairs. You see the ghost puts his hand in yours, almost mocking what had just happened with her. Tries to shake your hand.
Yes, you know what? I can do something you can't do. Fuck you! I am the spell. And then I go walking back down the stairs.
Yeah. There's a moment where you see him start to fade out, and then you see him kind of bite his lower lip, and he kind of balls his fists, and he stays.
Yes, well, I know how much that's costing you in terms of effort. Keep it up, buddy. I've got all day. And I start walking down the stairs.
You don't have mind, correct?
I have all the mind. Mind's like my thing. I'm a master of self-help books.
Touche. You feel the coldness come over you as you can feel him kind of like putting his hand into your body. Go ahead and roll your arete. As he's going to try to puppet you.
Is the difficulty 6 or higher?
No.
Okay. If it is, I was going to spend a willpower point because I'm very self-confident.
No. It is 5. Every success you get will just knock off 1 from 8.
I'm going to spend a willpower point anyway because I have a feeling I'm going to hate whatever the fuck this is. So
it's just a ride. It's just
it's a 9 and a 10. I don't have a specialty at Arate, so I'm assuming I don't re-roll the 10s.
Correct.
So that would be 3 successes.
3 successes. Okay. Excuse me. There's a moment where
you're being spiteful, by the way. I can see what you're doing with this ghost right now, and you are being spiteful.
No way, shape, or form. Is that even a possibility? You made a friend, and I am seeing the storyline through. And there's a moment where Vasily kind of takes the back seat for a second. Like, you can see what's happening, you can hear, you can feel everything, but you're suddenly awash with memories that aren't yours. There's this heated discussion about finances, about how what you can only imagine this man's wife must have been in charge of, and how he lost his job and she was going to be the primary bread maker, and how he just could not stand that idea. And you get the image, just the hard memories of him just kind of trying to drown his sorrows in a bottle of whiskey, just kind of sitting there watching her sleep in that same room where you kind of summoned him. And you feel his hands coil around her neck. And then you feel him kind of step up onto the stool as he kind of brings the hard fibers around the top of his head, kind of scratching and bringing them down across his chin and onto his neck. And there's a moment where the wife is replaced with an image of Joe, and you see him use your body to start kind of running towards her.
I immediately begin to recite verbatim that successful people are often put in situations where they are not in control. However, a truly successful person does not let circumstances get the better of them. A successful person turns all instances of hardship into opportunity, and a truly successful person views all things in the light that they may turn out for the best. And I'm going to, yes, I am, yes. Through the power of self-help books, I will use my mind magic.
And this will be a difficulty 6.
I'm going to also throw a point of entropy into it, if that is appropriate, to help kind of deal with the necrotic side of it.
Sure.
Just to kind of push him away. And I will, of course, spend a willpower because very self-confident.
It is a good feat to have.
As an 8 and a 10.
Okay.
Plus the willpower would be 3.
Yeah, there's a very definitive moment where you kind of start to recite that. You can feel it overpowering this malevolence that's kind of crawled inside of you. And slowly you can feel it being pushed out of your psyche, and you see it violently ejected from your body. And as it is, there's something else, something that you can't see, that is in the room with you. But because of your attachment, your kind of use of entropy, you can feel it. And it kind of stalks past you almost like a Bengal tiger. And there's a moment where this ghost kind of turns around, angry that you've expelled him from the fun that he was about to have, and the look of joy turns into utter dread as it sees something that you don't. And then you see these 3 thick, maybe 2.5 inch long gashes. A trio of them just go from shoulder to opposite hip. And he starts to tatter like paper mache in the rain.
Fuck you, Casper.
Slowly, you see him start to dissipate.
I give him the middle finger as he is dissipating. Mm-hmm. I fucking hate ghosts. Piece of shit, fucking spirits clinging to the... You know what? Fuck you, okay? Some of us have lives to live.
Joe,
I hope you enjoy hell, you piece of shit. Start walking down the stairs.
Joe peeks her head out from the stairway. She kind of looks down. What are you saying about ghosts?
Oh, I was... Yes.
Can you see them?
I just walked down the stairs, ignoring the rest of the question.
Okay. But
I remember what you said about there being a haunted room up there. I was saying I don't see any ghosts. I'll be honest, it was kind of negative because I was expecting ghosts on a ghost floor. Okay. Then
Daniel says that at least there's always at least one room on every floor that has somebody in it.
Well, that is wonderful. This floor does not have anyone. Therefore, Daniel does not know what he's talking about. I would know. Okay, I'm very perceptive. My chakra is wide open.
Oh. I didn't know you knew about chakras.
Oh, absolutely. I read all of the books on all of the things. Chakras, personal enlightenment, how to be successful, habits of successful people, the Enneagrams. I read everything. Self-improvement is very important to me. Otherwise, you cannot make it in America.
I mean, that's true. You can't just sit on your ass and expect it to just give you money.
Exactly. You have 2 choices. You can either be unsuccessful or successful, right?
That makes sense.
Be successful, yes, to be successful, you have to work towards success. For example, I was not successful getting up 24 flights of stairs without feeling like I was going to die. but I will work at it. And then one day I will come back and I will climb up all 24 flights of stairs in your ghostless, boring building, and you will notice that I don't even have a puff of a breath.
Yeah.
Instead of right now, where it feels like a badger is trying to fuck its way out of my chest.
Yeah, it's all in your breathing. You're breathing with your lungs right now instead of your diaphragm.
Sure. That sounds very true. Let's get out of here, though. I do not like it.
Oh yeah, no, you're climbing down the stairs and you make it all the way back to the 5th floor. It's a little easier going down the stairs because you're not fighting gravity, so you're not as winded. But as you kind of come into the 5th floor from the stairway, you can see that this is a far cry from where you were. Like,
I will add my entropy is not up in any way, shape, or form anymore. I have learned lessons, and I will take those lessons forward for the rest of the game.
Okay.
Yep.
Sometimes you got to put your hand on the stove to learn how hot things can get.
Yes, I have learned a valuable lesson. Don't let my out of game fetishes translate into the game.
But the 5th floor is just a splash of color, shapes. There's wild lines, geometric patterns. As you approach one room, it's like every wall that is on either side of a room devoted to somebody has their personality just painted across it. And for Joe, as she kind of leads you to where her room is, the 2 walls on either side have these vistas, these kind of very beautiful, very simple drawn designs that you would see on rice paper walls in Japan. The kind of ukiyo-e, kind of very, very sensual, but very kind of athletic and strong images.
That is good. I like. This room has much better energy. I like this a lot. It has lots of good feng shui. I like this. This is.
He nods, and she notices that there's a door down the hall, and you can hear a phone ring. You hear a little bit of a dialogue, and she kind of looks over at you. She's like, "Oh, you're in luck. Daniel's back." And she starts.
Hey. Right. Well, paid for 4 tours, but I guess I get a third of one.
And she leads you over to Daniel's room. The 2 walls on the other side of the door just have geometric, beautiful kind of depictions of heaven and hell, one on one side, one on the other. There's allusions to Dante's 9 levels. There's allusions to just the old images of what angels kind of look like, which is just meatballs with eyes and wings. But in geometric, kind of very beautiful, very golden ratioed proportions. And she kind of knocks on the open door. She peeks her head in. She's like,
I think I have one of these made of velvet hanging above my bed.
She kind of nods at you, and then she looks into the room again. Yeah, your 7:30s here, and you hear, he's early. And she kind of nods. You see her pull out the 20 from the pocket, hand it to him. He's like, he paid for 4 tours. So, and as he comes out, you see the very kind of well-dressed man that I described earlier. He's got his jacket off, but he does have his closed vest and kind of smiles. He's like, excellent. There's nothing more than I love than discussing the past tenants of the Biltmore Hotel and Hospital. He kind of extends his hand to you.
Lots of past tense. It's good to meet you. Vasily, it's good to meet you. I would shake hands, but part of the past tense of this building has already just really put the downer on my day. I did not like, and I do not like your building. I do not know why I'm here. You seem like a very decent guy. Vasily is more than happy to make your acquaintance. But I need to tell you, again, man to man, up front, this building, I fucking hate this building. And I'm pretty sure that whatever you're about to say to me is going to be a wonderful opportunity that I will want a part of. But at the same time, I know I don't want to hear it.
Oh.
Please,
Oh.
your turn.
If you are so inclined, then I apologize for taking up any of your time. He hands
Why
you
did
back
you ask me to come here? Why
Yeah.
me? Why the
Back-
silly?
$15. He's like, here for the tours that I'm not going to be able to give you. And he kind of stands there for a moment. Mr. Yadovich, I've been following your experts for some time. I wish this to be a recruitment, as it were. You could use a man of your talents among the order, and he kind of motions to the hallway. You can feel it,
I
can't
mean,
you? This pantry house. You're safe here.
Well, to me, but this doesn't exactly look like the kind of place that anything that I do will. No, you do not. You do not want the zoo itself. Furthermore, what the fuck is a chantry?
He smiles. This is where you go to enjoy yourself, to pull.
No. This is not where I go to enjoy myself. The place I go to enjoy myself has more lights, better music, lots of vodka, and women wearing almost as little clothes as the men. This is not where I go to enjoy myself. This is the last place I would go to enjoy myself. I would rather sit in dentist chair while someone lovingly massages the inside of my throat with an SOS pad than spend any more time in this building. I fucking hate it.
Oh, we can consider you an outside agent then. You don't have to live in the building. But those of us that are like you, Mr. Yadovich, those of us that are awakened,
Drug dealers?
we like to use the Chantry House to help us. We can pull the magical. Would you know about dragon lines? You know about ley lines? Is that a thing in Russia?
I know that dragons are fairy tale, and I know the only ley lines that I am anywhere aware of are the ones that usually show up roughly around 3:30 in the morning. And then they go home roughly about 10, 11.
The
Look.
Biltmore sits on a ley line, Mr. Yadovich. That's why you can feel some of that hum, that energy that kind of lets us do what we do.
All right. Let's do this, because you're using a lot of terminology and you're using a lot of suppositions about Vasily and what you want of Vasily and what Vasily wants from you. Let's just do this. Let's keep it simple. Let's make this a good thing for both of us. What do you want, and how much will you pay Vasily to do it?
I would like you to help us, and I'm willing to pay you in TAS.
What the fuck is this?
He goes into his office, and he comes out with what looks like an Energon cube from Transformers. Just a little, maybe in the shape of like 4d6s kind of stacked together to make a larger cube. And it just kind of glows in his hand. This is TAS.
It's a toy. They have them on desks all over the place. You can... This is... What the fuck is this? No, I cannot spend this.
He hands it
Money,
to you.
gold money, real money. That is what I do. Vasily, if you... I want money, product, or you owe Vasily a favor. Those are the three currencies that Vasily deals in. He does not deal in glowing dice.
He laughs and is like, I think you'll consider this a fourth. Here. And he hands it to you.
So he just hands me a block.
It's warm to the touch. It's light.
Is there a table?
Yeah, there's a little side table.
He rolls it over the table.
Yeah, I
There's
mean,
no numbers on it. This is the most useless fucking dice I've ever seen in my life.
He picks it up and puts it back in your hand. Imagine yourself absorbing it. 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 Imagine yourself ab
I believe without Prime, I can't even absorb it. That's why it's useless to me.
Yeah. He doesn't know you don't have Prime, though. So
Yeah.
that's why. He's like, just imagine absorbing into yourself.
Okay, hold on. Hold on, I'm imagining really hard.
He
Nope,
slowly,
still a useless fucking dice. Throws it over his
slowly-
shoulder.
yeah, he goes over, he rushes over, he's like, no, this is valuable. And he comes
Not
back
to me.
and he grabs your left hand and he puts the cube in your right hand. And this time you can feel something of a kind of electrical current between the two of you, and you see the task disappear into your body. You now have an extra point of quintessence to call on. You can feel it.
I guess the closest approximation Vasily would have to that would be, snorting 3 Oxycontin. Yeah.
It is bliss.
All right. It's not bad. Yeah, I could use that. Is there any? Hold on. How many of those do I get?
Well, considering that you just eaten one of them, you would get.
You fed it to me. All right, officer. I did not take it. You gave it to me.
Either way, one of them has already been ingested, and so I'm willing to give you one more as a start with the.
And it's going to be like that.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And I need you to hold my hand. Like, is that what you? Is this like one of those things where we kind of shoot each other in the?
No.
Like, no, we don't pass. We don't pass it back and forth. We don't.
There are other members of the order that can help you ingest it, should you need it.
And that's the only. Okay, so that's not the only way to ingest it.
No. There are other ways.
So, Vasily immediately grabs the cube, puts it on the table, and just tries to start crushing it with his hand.
It is a slow process, but
So he pulls out his credit card.
yeah, after a good 20 minutes, you've crushed it into a powder, and if you
He just does a bump.
yeah,
Does a bump of TAS.
you snort the task, and there is a
Does nothing.
moment. There is a moment where you're just like, "This is what my life has led me to," and then because you have no prime, you cannot physically enjoy what you're doing. It just feels like you've snorted pop rocks.
Speaking as someone who has snorted pop rocks before, don't ask. It was a thing.
Sure.
I don't like it. I don't like that at all.
Yeah.
All right. Vasily sees what you're doing here, and I respect it. You are trying to get Vasily hooked on your brother. Vasily understands this. He understands this all too well. I am not. Hold on.
Yeah. He puts his hand on your shoulder. And this time you feel that connection, that electricity again. He's like, "Try it now."
Oh, go for another bump? Okay.
I didn't think I would have to twist your arm, and as you just dig your nose into it and sniff. And this time, it is, again, just euphoric. It is everything you've ever wanted out of any kind of high, any liquor-induced high, any pill-induced high. It's just the hallway elongates and retracts. The colors come off the walls and just start to caress you.
Fuck yeah. Fuck yeah.
He removes his hand from your shoulder and everything.
I grab it and put it back.
Everything just goes.
Don't let go. Ride this with me. Don't let go. You're the key. You're the key, man. You stay right where the.
And no, it's like,
fuck yeah.
even once the connection's been broken, it cannot be reignited. And you just kind of crash hard.
Oh, and he just smiles and casually reaches into his jacket, pulls out his pill bottle. Oh, fuck yeah. Oh.
All right. Now that
Yeah,
you're
whatever you want Vasily to do, I will do.
Excellent.
Oh.
come inside, and you see him.
Nah, I'm good. Just give me a minute.
Okay.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Here, let me come out to you then. And he goes into his office, and after a
Please
few
do
minutes,
that.
he comes out with the file folder. And as he does,
I feel like I'm bogarting you, my friend. Here, you want some?
No.
You gave me some of yours. He's prime.
no, thank you. And
Are
as
you
he
sure?
sits down across from you in the hallway and hands you the file folder, we go over to Charles, who is with Samantha, kind of just staring down the field to where these police officers are kind of. It looks like they're just kind of pointing at things and writing down notes. Like none of these people have ever kind of really seen this kind of thing. And from your position, you can tell that they're just going to chalk this off as probably kids vandalizing.
Okay.
It looks like they're packing up even as they're kind of as you get to the top and you kind of look down. But you notice that the kind of circular patterns that come out from the 5 points of the star all create a kind of Celtic knot. There's something much more esoteric here than there was at the Vizcaya.
Okay. Do I get the feeling that these were like separate agents that might have been working together?
From watching it, yes. From just looking, excuse me, because they're all very, very different. But you see Sam kind of hold up one of her lenses up to her eye, and she looks down towards the field, and then she kind of whistles.
What did you spot?
I don't know if here, and she kind of pulls them off of her neck and kind of hands them to you.
Sure. Hugh will like gladly put them on.
Yeah.
He assumes they do something. He assumes that he has no idea how that works, but god damn it, it still works.
It is just the moment you put them on, you don't see anything differently except that everything kind of looks like you're looking at things through some dark sunglasses. Except that looking at it, you don't see any of the cops. Like if you remove them, you can still see that they're there, but if you put them on, like you don't see the cops, and you can see that there's something in the middle of the pentagram. It looks almost like an outline, almost like the Predator effect, where you can just see that something is moving, and it's kind of doing its best to stay out of the way of all these police officers walking around it.
Okay. As soon as I see that, I think like he's gonna be like kind of like reach into a pocket and pull out a little tincture, and I'm gonna dose myself with something. I'm gonna map the mindscape there. You know the correspondence one that like so I can see basically sense all contours there.
Yeah.
And that's within my perceptive range, so that's pretty far. I've got a nice big overlook here, so
Roll your arete. Let's see what happens.
yeah, totally.
It's gonna be difficulty 5 since nobody's within range to kind of mess with you.
Okay, I got a 2 and a 2. I probably would have spent willpower on this. I'm not sure if you'd let me do that after the fact.
Sure.
Yeah.
do that.
So I'll have 1.
Okay. You take your tincture, you kind of refocus your eyes, you close them, you open them, you kind of blink real hard, and there's a moment where you kind of close in and you start to just focus on whatever this thing is, and then you notice that as it's doing its best to kind of duck and weave once you come in and you can see that it looks to be about maybe 4 feet tall. It looks to be hunched over like some deformed bipedal creature. Its hands, though, aren't human. They're four-digited. They end in these really kind of pointed claws. Its foot is this kind of split 3-digit kind of leg that kind of bends backwards almost like a wolf or a deer. Like it has a really elongated kind of shin. And as you take all of this in and you kind of start making notes for yourself in your mind, you see that it stares straight at you. Then it starts to bound in your direction.
Sam, there's someone coming for us, and I am going to basically unhitch my pistol from underneath my coat, and just basically have it standing there, and I'll probably turn to Sam and be like, Sam, run! And I'm going to start turning, and I'm going to run.
She
basically
grabs
try to get
the goggles off your face, and she just kind of looks at it, and she's like, oh no, what did you do? And she just starts to run. So go ahead and give me stamina and athletics checks.
Sure. Stamina and athletics.
It's not 24 flights of stairs. You'll be fine.
No. There's an elevator.
At least you can take a... Oh. What's the difficulty?
I'll say 6.
3.
Okay.
Yeah,
you beat Sam to the elevator. You start just jamming the button just hard. Just blah, 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 blah. She kind of turns around. She's got her one goggle covering her right eye, with the other goggles just above her brow line. And you see her pull out what looks to be a German Luger. It is an old gun.
Okay.
And you see what must be something incredibly heavy just kind of land at the top of the ramp that leads down to the elevator, because you can see just the crack of the concrete under its weight. And then Sam pulls the trigger, and the sound that comes out of this weapon is not what you would imagine for a Luger to sound like. It's not a very gentle pop or pap. There is literal thunder cracking over you. And this thing just suddenly crumbles.
Good shot, Sam. The hell is that thing?
I don't know. I didn't even think this would work. And she kind of shakes it like a water gun, and you can hear something sloshing inside, and then she puts it away.
Don't put it away. Don't put it. Let's go make sure it's dead. Okay, here, I'll go first, and if it does anything, you shoot it, not me. You shoot it. Okay.
Okay. I should warn you that this is not a localized thing. And as she says that, you hear another thunder crack, and then you just see that it starts to rain. She's like, oh no.
Is that a weather gun?
It did it again. And she kind of just slumps her head down. She looks like she's been defeated. Oh no. I'm sorry, Chuck.
But don't be sorry you killed the thing.
I mean, yeah, but it's raining now.
Sam, it hold that thought, and I'm gonna run over to this thing and kind of take a look at it. Is it still
with the rain now falling onto it, you can see a very clear outline of what this thing is, and you can see that it is still breathing. Yes.
All right. In which case, Hume is going to stand over it for a second, and then probably cap it twice in the head. No, I am not dealing with this bullshit.
Some of the police officers down on the field kind of turn their attention to some gunshots that are heard. But you notice that instead of bleeding, this thing kind of starts to disintegrate almost like something out of Tron. Like a program being erased. And even as this does, the hard thunk that it crashed into the concrete with starts to kind of wither away as well. It starts to wash itself away, and it starts to correct itself. And Sam just kind of suddenly gasps, and she puts her hands to her mouth, and the elevator dings. And you just see her kind of rush into it. Chuck, we gotta go.
I'm gonna sprint after her and get in the elevator.
And as the elevator's going down, she kind of just, out of the corner of her mouth, she just whispers, and she's just like, that was a hobgoblin. Hobgoblins in the city.
Wait. I thought you couldn't hurt those things.
We need to tell Daniel.
Yeah, okay. We'll head right over to the hotel.
And as you and her get a cab and make your way over to the Biltmore, where Vasily is currently experiencing the greatest high of his life, I think this is a good point to end tonight's episode. So I'd like to thank the two of you. I'd like to thank Shanky McStabber for hosting.
I have some friends that are going to want to hear about this shit.
Yeah. Yeah. And as always, please, if you haven't gotten vaccinated, please go get your vaccines. If you feel like you still need to wear your masks, please continue to wear your mask, continue to keep your distance, continue to wash your hands. And I think that Shanky does a better job than I do of the mental health discussion at the end of the stream, so I'm going to turn it over to him.
Hello, everybody. Shanky here, the magical voice floating with no actual camera feed. First off, thank you everyone for coming. If you like what we're doing, you can give us a subscribe here on Twitch. You can give us a follow on YouTube, whatever. So you know, bits and donations, they go to the players of the game you're watching, not to the studio. So if you want to give something to the players, bits and donations go to them, not us. Just so you know, that's something I like to put out there. If you want to see back content, pop over to YouTube. If you want to catch some other amazing, great streams, check out our friends list over there, because we've got one of the people, Ravnos Archon. They are on that list right there because they have, Ravnos Archon runs Legend of the Five Rings, runs Star Wars games, vampire game, had a werewolf one shot today, which was pretty cool. So Ravnos Archon is really back to back in it today. Rep RPG, newest addition to our friends list there. Check them out, poke in, take a peek. If you want to get some merch, we've got merch. We put that in there. For the schedule this week, to let everybody know, tomorrow, 5 p.m. Eastern, Windy City After Dark, episode 4. Holy shit. That's all I can say. Holy shit. Everything goes to hell. And bad things are brewing, and it's not all my fault this time. So I'll take that. And then next Saturday at 3 p.m. Eastern, you get, starting at 3 p.m. Eastern, you get a double dose of Red Ben Powers. He is going to be joining the cast of our Blades in the Dark stream at 3 p.m. Eastern. And then when that's done at 8 p.m. Eastern, he's going to be back right here for Mage the Ascension Neon Rain, this 80s insanity that we've been enjoying tonight, which is really great. And in the immortal words of Chops, please, mental health, it's no joking matter. It's no laughing matter. Check in on friends, please. Check in on family. Check in on all your loved ones. Make sure they're okay. Please even check in on people that you may not like as much, because it doesn't matter. Right now, there's a lot of people who are not okay. And maybe yours is the voice that helps them. And if you are someone who suffers from mental health issues, please don't hesitate to reach out to your friends, or if you need professional help, reach out to professional help. Right now in chat, you can see a list of helplines that you can call or text. And if you're not located in the US, there's even a website in our chat right now that you can go to, put in the country you're in, and get the helplines you need for your country. Because we're all in this together. And we're only going to get through things together. So from the tech side of this amazing Mage game, and the cast and the storyteller, who thank you for joining us on McStabber Studios and running Mage, because I know there's a number of people in our Discord who wanted it, and I'm not a Mage player or one who runs it, but we found Ravnos Archon willing to do it. So I thank you all for coming, and I hope to see you next week. So
do I.
We can see the third member of this group, and maybe he has Prime. Maybe not.
I hope so.
Spoilers.
I don't have to keep
Okay.
going back to the same two people to get my fix.
Hopefully. So I'd like to thank you all, and good night, everybody.
Have a good